Gardening here, coming to you from Zone 8B in Texas. I want to talk to you a little bit about cattle panels in use for substitution of tomato cages. If you've been gardening for a few years, or if you're just new, there's always like, how do I support these tomatoes? What's the best way? Anyone who's been doing tomatoes for a few years will quickly learn that tomato cages that they sell at the garden store are maybe better for bell peppers or eggplants or something like that. What we're looking at here is the skeleton, what's left of my summer garden. The tomatoes that were in here were over 6 feet tall, so like regular tomato cages just don't cut it. So I want to talk to you a little bit about these. They're commonly called tomato cages, or hog panels, or cattle panels, and so you'll see them sold those different ways. You can get them at like Tractor Supply or like larger industrial supply places. A couple things to know and why I love them so much. First off, these are 10 years old. They have lasted me this fine. They're not rusting, they're not falling apart. I store them outside, they're outside all the time. I anticipate they're gonna last another 10 years easy. Like, they're just super strong, super durable. It takes quite a bit. They will bend, but it takes quite a bit to bend them. So it's not like they're a little bit of a weight and it's just going to topple over the way a regular tomato cage does. When they sell them at the store, they'll frequently come in pretty long lengths, like 10 foot, 16 foot, 20 foot lengths. I don't have a trailer that big to haul them. Maybe you do. Something to bear in mind, and I brought this out here to show. This is pretty heavy metal, so you will actually want some bolt cutters if you're going to cut this, and you'll want to have those bolt cutters when you purchase if you need to cut it down, because you'll need to be able to cut it on site to load it into your vehicle or your friend's truck that you borrowed or anything like that. You'll notice I've got a little bit of a Band-Aid solution here. These used to be on a bed that was 6 feet long. This bed here is 8 feet long. So I've took some of my old panels and kind of band-aided them together to make the 8 feet that I needed. But it's just fine. Zip ties work just great. You're going to be wondering what all this string is and why that is. Because I jam way more tomatoes in here than I should, do as I say, not as I do, there's really not a lot of space in between to like make separate tomato cages for each tomato. So I just put these up along the whole panel, and I'll take a different camera angle so you can see, but I end up with these rows, and I use pantyhose as a stopgap to do my cross support. There's some string up here. I actually don't recommend string personally. It holds on to moisture, it's a little rough, it's not as flexible. Pantyhose are great. If it rains, it dries out real quick. It's soft on the plant. And pantyhose will also last you season after season. I have some in here that was almost 10 years. It was just this year that it started to disintegrate on me. So I do need to scrounge up some old used pantyhose. Ask some friends, they probably have a whole bunch in their drawers with runs in them that they don't need anymore. The way I've secured this, because I've got a raised bed, I was able to put some of this on the outside and some cross supports, and I've got some rebar on the inside, and so I'll zip tie to that rebar, and this is for maybe 3 foot rebar, so there's at least 1.5 feet, and this is some rough placed oil. There's at least 1.5 feet down here. But if you've got like a big garden and you've got the space to really spread out, this tree stake, I don't know if they're called Tbars or whatever they're called, but I've seen people who've got a lot of space and they'll drive these, and then they'll just put up a full 10-foot panel on one side of this. And so whatever you need to do to make sure that the thing in the ground is sturdy that you attach this cattle panel to is the way you want to go. I call it cattle panel, but like I said, you'll hear it also called hog. The other thing is to think about the size, right? So I want to do a quick demonstration here. You want a hole size or a grid size that's big enough for you to get your whole hand through holding a tomato. And so if you imagine that I had a big, right, heirloom or something that I was pulling through here, you want to be able to not only fit your whole hand through, but your whole hand holding the tomato. So you've got those sizes to consider as well. Something to bear in mind as you work these out. But I just want to highlight, because a lot of people have questions about the way to support their tomatoes. I mean, I do get a little taller than this. It's over 6 feet, like I said. And so it comes out and over, but there is kind of an upper limit unless you start to like build some real structures of what you're gonna do. So just want to share what works for me. Hopefully this works for you. It is a little bit of an investment in time and effort, but after you suffer your first year of tomato cages from the store failing, you'll definitely want a more robust solution. So, all right, good luck out there, gardeners, and we'll see you next time.